Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. It will contain strong language and adult themes. So welcome to my echo chamber, literally. I've got my computer set up in a 4-foot by 6-foot closet that's all hard surfaces, so everything echoes in here.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, basically, it's to protect the computer from the building going on in the main area.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I'm building a built-in desk and basically a wall unit that goes along the whole 14-foot wall. And I just, don't want to have the monitor out there where it could get bumped when I'm moving pieces around.
That's fair.
So it'll get moved out there after the things are assembled, and I'll at least take some pictures of it, put up, show people what I've been working on later. So actually, the broadcast yesterday afternoon got cut off rather abruptly.
Mm-hmm. Why's that?
Well, everybody else got knocked out of the chat. I was the only one left in there, and we didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then today I got a email from StreamYard saying that, yeah, while we were in the middle of that, basically their servers got overloaded and it knocked a bunch of people off their service and nobody could get back in.
Oh.
So, yeah, it had to do with basically StreamYard did not have the capacity for the number of people that were live streaming.
Well, yeah, for a free service that basically works.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem with the internet in general. Even YouTube is having more traffic than they ever anticipated because everybody's got to be working from home. So since people aren't going to work, people can't go out, and they need some kind of entertainment, everybody's on the internet at the same time.
Yep.
Or pretty much there's a few million extra people who are on the internet 24/7 now. So, okay. Hey, Doc. We've got Doc and Skunk in the side chat. Skunk Water Bait and Tackle. I know I've seen the name before, but I'm not really sure who this is. Yeah, I don't know who it is, but they've at least got a channel with some content. It seems more of a personal vlog thing. So I'll check it out more later. So how's everybody doing? Doc, are you still working? I had heard that some of the hotel chains are even closing up now. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that I've already noticed with the chats, that the lag time between StreamYards and YouTube is significantly more this week than it has been previously. That before it had usually been like 10 to 20 seconds, and this week it's been up to a minute. Okay, yeah, Doc's still at work. Oh. So, I guess nobody has much of anything exciting happening lately, huh?
I'm all muted. I was muted and I was talking.
Ah.
I was saying, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. About the whole, everybody's going to be on doing stuff on the internet. What?
Yeah, pretty much every website I look at has some banner on there about, we are experiencing higher than usual traffic type things. So, uh, oh, Nickelspot, hi.
But yeah, what was I saying? I forgot about the whole probably everybody's on the internet thing.
Yeah. Well, and some of the services are even helping. Comcast, which is basically one of only 3 companies that provides internet anywhere in Minnesota,
Hmm.
is being nice about it, and it's giving everybody a free month this month.
Hmm.
So, not that there's like any real competition for internet services. They generally only have one company for any given city, but
Right. They've just been playing Minecraft with Hops, and he kept getting kicked off and couldn't figure out why, and it should have been obvious why. Because there's probably tons of people playing games.
yeah, a lot of people that just don't know what to do with themselves if they can't go out. I heard one report that said liquor sales are up 50%, and I'm sure a big part of that is people stocking up because they're not sure if they're going to be able to get it later. But
Hmm.
I did just because they happened to have my brand on sale last week.
Hmm. Oops. Well, I, being an essential worker,
Yeah.
have
You
to.
weren't that essential when they were trying to raise the minimum wage.
Right.
Yeah, but I also managed to find toilet paper last week, so that
Well,
was
that's
about
good.
the only thing we needed that we weren't able to get. So, it's like, yeah, there's a few things we might like to have that we haven't been able to get, but as far as basic needs, we're pretty much good for the next month.
That's good. Yeah, we're okay, but like since both of us are essential workers, we still have to go to work, so we don't have to worry about the whole stocking up all the time thing,
Yeah.
because well, we're at work we can get things.
Yeah, although I know doing retail now must really suck.
Yeah, well, it always sucks, but
Well, yeah. I'm just kind of worried about the cashiers in general because
mm,
their job is to handle stuff that everyone else has handled.
right.
So, it's like, I don't know, the company should at least like give them a box of disposable gloves so they can keep changing them.
Well, Walmart does. Um, Disposable gloves. What else?
Well, even when I
There.
was in Walmart a few days ago, it's like they were
Mhm.
wiping down the belt between customers, but I didn't see
Mhm.
any of the cashiers having gloves.
Well, they provide gloves, and there's gloves everywhere in the store. If you want them, you can have them.
Okay.
But like I don't think that gloves are the way to go because I feel like gloves give people a false sense of security.
Yeah. Well, no, I just specifically meant for the cashiers because, they're having to pick up stuff that they don't know who's been handling it before them.
No, no, I do get that, but what I'm saying is that like I use the example of like when a doctor uses, or a doctor or a nurse uses gloves, they use those gloves for one patient, and then they change the gloves in the room. They take the gloves off in the room, sanitize their hands, and then move on. And if you've got cashiers ringing up 30 or 40 people and they're not changing those gloves in that time,
Yeah,
they're not helping to keep it contained at all.
right. Yeah, if they're not changing them between customers, it doesn't really help because
Mhm.
you don't know which customer may be carrying the virus.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah, it's Sloth Girl has been making up the fabric masks. So we just sent off a batch of over 100 of them to my sister, is a nurse that works in a
Mhm.
care facility, mostly elderly care.
Gotcha.
So
Shoulda had her do up some of those and send them in your packages for the people who,
yeah,
you
well,
know.
I was sending the packages off before,
Yeah.
at
No,
least
I know.
before it hit here, but although some of the packages seem to just be kind of suspended in transit,
Mhm.
but the post office had warned me about the ones crossing international borders were likely to be delayed. So Neil's in
Yeah.
Canada. I guess he just got his, like a day or two ago.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about trying to send something to Australia at one point this week because um Osman, Osman, whatever, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He was having trouble getting a hold of a medication that he needed.
Oh,
Um but you may not have known it because he changed his name on Twitter again. So you might not have even realized it was him.
no, I didn't realize he changed his name again.
Mhm. Well, there was this oh, yeah, there was this whole fiasco on Twitter, um, the other day with some guy absolutely flipping out on Neil because somebody took the time to take the Canadian flag and animate it with, um oh, what's the word? With Neil's image on it. So it's like a Canadian flag, but then over the maple leaf is Neil's icon, you know? And
Hmm.
Neil jokingly said, "Is this disrespecting the flag?" And this guy went like ape shit over it. Um, Started insulting Neil, insulting anybody who was defending him, basically trying to say, "I'm a soldier, therefore I'm better than you."
Yeah, that's an instance of people get too caught up in the symbols.
Mhm.
Uh, the sad thing is a lot of the stuff that people, like get wound up about the American flag and that, and about people burning it in protest. And it's like,
Mhm.
you're so worried about protecting the symbol that you're willing to abandon
What it
what the
means.
symbol actually represents.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we do have a kind of rationing going on with a lot of stuff, especially the paper products here. Of
Yeah.
them saying like one or two per customer.
Yeah, I felt bad for people at my work because they were literally saying 1 per customer,
Yeah,
but, like, legitimately, I could understand extending it to, say, 2 because we're talking about packs of toilet paper that are, you know, 2 4 rolls.
yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah,
Well,
I think you should be able to tell them 2."
and unfortunately, just because it's one person doing the shopping, you don't know if they're living alone or if they're living with 8 people.
Yep. That's why I said I'm glad I didn't wait until things got serious to do some of the shopping that I did
Hmm.
because, you know, I wouldn't have toilet paper, at
Well,
least.
we got caught just because after the move,
Move. Mhm.
And it's like I went and it's like it hadn't started here yet, so there was plenty of stuff there. But I was thinking, we've got kind of limited storage space, so is it, the big packs save you a little bit, but was it really worth it? So I just bought the 4-pack.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, if I had known, I could have bought the pack of 16 rolls a week
Mhm.
before they started gutting the shelves,
Mhm.
which normally is what I always did before anyway. This was like the one occasion that I decided that, yeah, with the new place, I wasn't going to bother stocking up on stuff like that. Never thought it would really become an issue that I wouldn't be able to get it.
Right.
So yeah, but for the most part, even as far as the food and that, I definitely Minnesota is not as bad as what I'm seeing from most other states.
Mhm.
But that's also, if you look at a map of the spread, it started on both coasts and it's working toward the center. So the number of cases per state is pretty much linear to how far you are from one of the ocean coasts. That
Yeah.
New York and California got hit the worst with it, and it just kind of moves in from there.
Yeah.
But of course, also making allowances for how well the governments for each state are handling it.
Or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, Florida finally ordered a statewide lockdown today.
Yep. Georgia did the same thing.
Yeah, but Florida was like one of the first states hit. This took them
Mhm.
far too long, but they were afraid of closing down the beaches because so much of their economy is based on the tourism for spring break. And that's the stuff that Trump was pushing to protect the economy. Who cares if an extra 100,000 people die if we protect the economy?
I don't want to be that kind of a person, but if somebody brings up, one of my parents or somebody brings up um, Trump again, and be like, "Well, you do realize you were the kind of people he wanted to die when he said about the whole economy thing."
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it's Minnesota went into lockdown last Friday. So, and even that, it's really a voluntary thing. It's more like a government recommendation. It's not
Mhm.
really like law.
Well, right. No, nobody's actually legitimately saying you may not leave your home. If you do, you will get a ticket or you
Yeah.
will be fined. Nobody's doing that. That's the thing. That's I have a backseat conversationalist.
Give him a microphone. He can come in.
No, I'd probably want to kill him by the end of that. No, I haven't gone out and checked the mail. I'll check the mail tomorrow.
Our rent is due and we need the bills. Yeah. So one of the things I'm kind of stuck with is that my car still has out-of-state plates because we can't really go to the DMV to get the stuff taken care of. So if they do start stopping people, I'm more likely to get stopped.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't think about that part.
So, well, at least we got the move finished before this started. It would have been a whole nother mess if we had been trying to move for April 1st. Don't even want to think about how that probably would have gone.
Yeah, definitely not a good idea. Or a good thing, rather.
Yeah, be mindful of seeing carry your lease with you. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to keep a copy of that in the car.
Yeah.
Just something to show them that we just moved here at the beginning of the month.
You have a. Are you in the process of getting your ID changed?
Well, again, that's
Oh, that's a DMV trip.
yeah. Well, and before I can even do either of those, I need other paperwork.
Right.
Because they require you to provide birth certificates and all these original documents and that, which I've got a lockbox and I thought I had all those, but turned out there are two critical pieces missing from that.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how they got out of the lockbox, but
Yeah, that's one of those irritating things is trying to figure out all that stuff. And you need it after you need it. Like after I moved to Georgia, then they were like, okay, come get your ID. And we went and they were like, oh, you need this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, you gotta track down all this crap.
yep. Yeah, how's the new place going for you, Doc? Yeah, I'll have to make sure that I've got a copy of the lease in the car just in case.
Hmm. And that was not something, my boyfriend and I were talking about going to see his parents. And yeah, that's actually something I don't think either of us had thought about, was the fact that out of state license plates could be something that they see and be like, oh, let's snag this person because they probably aren't supposed to be here.
Well, and I don't know which state you're going to. I know that Florida supposedly had already, even before they called the lockdown, had like set up checkpoints along the state line to some of the other states.
Mm-hmm. Now that I wasn't aware of.
That's what I had heard. I don't know how reliable the information was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, now they're talking thing about the stimulus checks and
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's a. Let me see if I can. It was Cirrus just released a video today about that.
yeah, I only got to watch half of that and I ran out of time. I didn't get to see the rest of it. So
Um,
there's still a lot of questions about, who will and won't be getting it. And
well, that's the thing. Like apparently, um, somebody went through it, and there should be a link of like, let's see, notes on the package. Yeah, he provided a link with the notes that Nathan had taken while going through it.
mhm. I guess a lot of it has to do, with
Mm.
pretty much as long as you had filed a tax return last year, that
Mhm.
you're probably going to be able to get something.
Yeah. I heard the part about people who have back child support not being allowed, and I'm like, that's just the kind of person that needs the help right now.
I saw that and it's like, yeah,
Or at the very least, I mean, like if you owe back child support, at the very least they should be awarding it to parent with custody of the child. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I know in a lot of states that if there was back child support due, that they could intercept the tax returns,
Mhm.
and that basically if the custodial parent had been receiving, any type of welfare benefits, that the state could keep that to try and recoup the amount they'd given them in their, WIC or
Mhm.
food stamps or whatever. So yeah, it was more about the states trying to recover some money than actually, helping out the person who's taking care of the kids.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, glad
I
to hear
think
things are improving for you, Doc. Oh, hey, Maya. Sorry, what were you saying, Kitty?
I forgot. Um yeah, I forgot. I'm so bad. Um yeah, I totally forgot what I was trying to say.
Okay. Well, if
Yeah.
anybody else wants to join in, we've got extra room here. Let me know. I'll send you a link on Twitter.
Yeah, they were talking about what the bill was this bill was the first time, and how apparently before this iteration, the money that they were going to be sending to people, like $1,200, was like a loan, and that we would have to pay it back, but the $5 billion that they were gonna set aside for corporations, that wasn't gonna be a loan,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have to, like, what's the word? No oversight, like, they could literally do whatever they wanted with that money.
Yeah, one of the things I'm concerned with is that for people who are receiving any kind of assistance, I know the way the systems usually work, and if the government gives them any money, it usually winds up getting taken away. That, like, the people who get this assistance, or get the $1,200 check,
Mhm.
are the states going to then decide that, well, you got all this money, you don't need food stamps for the next 6 months?
I don't think well, that's the thing, like, let me
I've seen
see.
that kind of thing happen on a smaller scale. And
Mhm.
since none of their systems, all of their systems are designed to track everybody's income, and base everything on how much money they got in the past month. And none of their systems are going to have anything in place for, the federal government giving everybody this kind of money.
Well, no, though that's the thing, like, it doesn't come as I think what I remember hearing was that it doesn't come as income for people on, like, welfare or whatever. It comes as an addition to whatever they normally receive.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. But most of the social welfare programs are administered by the states or the counties.
Mhm.
And I've seen instances before that basically, yeah, if the federal government gives them any money, the state takes it away.
No, it comes in through the state, that's the thing. So, like, right here, it says, "Those receiving unemployment will receive an additional 600 a week on top of their state benefits for 4 months or just over 17 weeks.
Yeah.
This will likely mean most the current wage." Let's see.
Well, just I've known people who have been on those kind of programs,
Mhm,
like in the situation like Diana's in,
mhm.
that she's actually concerned that if Patreon gets to be more than $50 a week, she could lose her medical coverage.
Mhm.
or more than $50 a month.
Mhm.
And that's the kind of thing I'm worried that could happen to a lot of people with this. That if the federal government gives them this money, is the state going to count that as income and decide that they don't get food stamps or medical benefits for a while, basically until all that money is what they consider spent over a reasonable time.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad I'm slaughtering turtles in Minecraft.
You should feel bad.
Well, I had
I
to breed
used
them. I had to breed them in order to get an item that they drop when they grow up. But now there's like 17 turtles living on the little island that I'm fishing off of, and it's like, okay, we've got enough turtles here. Time to cull the population a little bit.
mm,
Let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 turtles in my sight. And that's probably not all of them.
yeah, I don't play Minecraft myself. I've watched Sloth Girl plays it a lot.
Sloth Girl should join my server.
What's that?
I said Sloth Girl should join my server. Yeah, my
You
server.
can send her an invitation on Twitter.
Yeah, I might do that. It would be interesting to have an additional person on the server sometimes.
Okay. Hey, Michelle. Okay, and I'm being told I need to check my Twitter.
Mm. Uh-oh, you've been bad. Somebody yell at you on Twitter.
No, Nigglespot's just asking if they could come in, so needed to send him the stream key.
Mm.
Which would be interesting. I've actually never talked directly. We've only sent emails and stuff back and forth, but Nigglespot did the other version of my avatar, my first fan art.
Oh, yeah, right. Ouch. My ear hurts. I got
Hey,
a
Hamable.
I'm not planning on doing anything with that money.
I'll believe it when it's in my bank account. I'm still suspicious that they'll find some way to disqualify me from it,
Oh,
especially since I'd never worked a normal 40-hour week.
yeah, that's a concern because there's people that they were talking about that, like YouTubers.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a partial disability, but I work part-time self-employed.
Yeah, you should definitely give that video a full watch then because there was talk of like basically you're a YouTuber, so
Yeah. Well, at least mine's a more traditional trade. I go to other people's houses and fix things, but
right. Right, but you're not employed by like anybody else. That's
right.
the thing.
Yeah. So it's all a matter of my own bookkeeping.
Mhm.
They don't really have anything else to go by. Okay, Nigglespot, I sent you a Sent you a stream key there if you want to check Twitter and come in.
Sorry. I have to get up very early in order to play. I totally screwed up my sleep schedule this week.
I take it MTG is Magic the Gathering, I assume.
Sounds right.
Yep. So you messed up your sleep schedule?
Yeah, since Hops is in Denmark, he's 6 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I can't get up at 1 in the afternoon and play because then it'll be like 7 o'clock at night for him.
Yep.
So when I came home on Tuesday night, I immediately I did a couple of things that I needed to get done before bed and went right to sleep and got up at 6 in the morning. And we played all day yesterday. When he finally had to get off, I went to take a nap and ended up sleeping for 12 hours.
Hello, friend.
There we go. You can hear me. There we go.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually heard your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well.
So how's
Here
it
I
going
am.
on for you down there?
Down here, everything is just going a bit downhill. Schools have shut down, basically, and everything is being done online, and it's just a nightmare.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's what they're
goodness.
trying to do here too. Yeah, they didn't have anything set up for these kind of situations, so nobody really knows how to deal with it.
So what actually happened is that they shut down the schools before they had a plan of what to do with the students and classes. So for the first couple days, everything was just running around, messaging teachers and students, and it was just really annoying.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
pretty much the same way it's worked around here, that the schools were shut down for about a week before they really started talking about the online classes. So it's like they're just making it up as they go along. Nobody has any idea what they're doing.
Well, somebody made a really good point, and it's like, maybe the kids need some time to before going right back into school stuff. Maybe gives kids some time to just process what's going on. I mean, the older ones will probably get it no problem, but could you imagine like a 6-year-old who just suddenly can't go to school anymore, and now everybody's scared about a disease that they might have been exposed to? I could think that would be terrifying for a child.
Yeah, I've actually anecdotally heard of a few things like that of, kids who actually liked school are, confused about why they can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And Sloth Girl brought it up this afternoon that, like, my fiance, when she was younger, was always saying that she liked school because it was the only place she felt safe. That her mother was quite abusive. So going to school was her, opportunity to get out of an abusive home for at least a few hours a day.
I can't imagine a lot of kids feel safe at school anymore.
Yeah. Of course, that also brings up the question of what happens to the kids who are out of school if their parents are, have a job that they're considered essential.
I think for the first couple days, they kept schools open, but students weren't obligated to stay home. They kept them open so that kids who can't stay home could go to the school and stay there. But I'm pretty sure they've dropped that, and I'm not sure what they're doing now.
Well, I know that my employer, who we all know who that is.
Yeah.
At least my particular store was like, just come in and work whenever you want. Just tell us when you can work, and you can work then. So like if you need to stay home in the mornings and take care of your kids, come in at 8 o'clock at night when the store closes and stock overnight. Just come in and work. So that's
Yeah,
been
and
working out for some folks here.
I heard that the YMCA here basically, they shut down all the regular things they normally do and they turn the whole thing into a daycare center, trying to keep the kids in small groups of no more than 10 kids to a room. But that still, for people to drop kids off, it's still like $40 a day.
Hmm.
And yeah, people who are working minimum wage jobs can't afford that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc, I hear you. I hated school, but I also hated being home. Although for me, it wasn't anything abusive. It was just somehow I always lived in a house with a dozen people and was always neglected, which people don't get how that can happen, but believe me, I think it was always the assumption that everybody thought somebody else was watching me, so no one actually was.
I can imagine how that can happen. Even in a household with just one or two, there were times where they couldn't figure out where I was, and I was just passed out under the kitchen table because I had been playing under the table.
Yeah, Maya's saying that that her state makes employers give parents leave time for not having a sitter. So obviously that's going to vary a lot state by state.
Hmm. True. Oh, hello. I found a zombie in the wall.
You found a zombie in the wall.
Yes.
Should I ask why you're opening up your walls at this hour of the night?
In Minecraft, obviously. I'm strip mining to find diamonds so I can make more gear.
And there happened to just be a zombie inside the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but I don't understand a lot of the mechanics of Minecraft, so.
But Minecraft spawns creatures based on your location and the light level. So, of course, the wall is going to be dark, and I was within 25 blocks, so he spawned.
Ah.
And then I just opened up the spot, and he was like standing there. Zombies aren't very threatening, though.
Yeah.
Not like in real life or something.
Like I said, I've watched Sloth Girl play it, so I've got some idea of some of the monsters. It seems to be a popular theme for the Lego sets, too, that they've put out quite a few sets on it in the last couple of years.
Well, my issue comes in that I tend to play modded Minecraft, not vanilla. And things are just somewhat more difficult in vanilla Minecraft versus the modded ones.
Yeah, I know there's so many different mods out there. It all depends what you've got.
Well, I mean, like one mod pack I play is called Stone Block, and basically it's a super flat world with a layer of lava on top, and everything is just stone. And you have to do your resource generation in odd manners, but it's really easy to make it so that you don't have to worry about monsters killing you. But when you're in an open world where where there's regular stuff going on, it's a lot harder to control for these weird factors.
Yeah. Mostly I never got into Minecraft just because it's like, the main thing for me of it would be building stuff, but I got Legos.
Yeah, but you can't let your friends come into your Lego world and climb your thing you built.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get my boyfriend into it too, because he actually likes to build things. He used to build stuff in a game called Second Life, and I'm like, you should come play Minecraft and build things here. but nuts. No luck.
Yeah,
with
again,
that one.
I haven't played Second Life myself, but I've seen some of the things that other people have created with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a big kink community on Second Life, from what I understand.
Yeah, lots of naughty people in there. Who was it that did that weird picture that took my character's eyes and put them on your?
Oh, Deconverted Man did that.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. He's got a bit of an odd sense of humor, but
Yeah, he took the avatar that you drew, Niggles, and he put my character's eyes over Purple's eyes. So it looked like some weird merger between the two.
Wait,
I should
that?
have
Wait,
that here.
I haven't seen that. This sounds interesting.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to see if I can find it in my computer here somewhere, but I'm not real good at being organized, so I often can't figure out which folder I've got things in.
I just keep everything in the same folder. Doesn't help that I name everything just random letters and numbers.
Oh, you're the kind of you're the kind of person that would annoy Cirrus with the naming thing. He had this issue for a long time where everybody was sending him their fan art with the same name.
Oh,
So he would constantly have to go and figure out who was what and rename this and rename that.
oh,
There it is.
that would take for ages.
Oh no, that was not that one. Never mind. I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he do one from the other one?
I don't remember.
No, I think it was just that one. Yeah, no, that was the one that Deconverted Man did. Yeah, I'd kind of like to go and change the avatar I've got going now, but I think I need to leave StreamYards and come back in to do that. So this is the original one Nigglesbot did.
Mm-hmm. He's cute.
Yep, that's fun.
It looks like Purple when he was 12.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. It's sort of a chibi version of me. Humans can be a pain.
No kidding.
Yeah, my fiance used to talk about that we were both pretty much raised by the animals in our houses rather than the humans. Some of the things about me make a lot more sense if you think that I was actually just raised by 3 cats.
That's an interesting way of putting it, thinking about it.
Even as a kid, I was always nocturnal, and that's, I've got excellent night vision. So, like, I could walk around the house at night with the cats and not turn any lights on so I didn't disturb anybody. The worst part of it was getting blasted with the light when I opened the refrigerator.
That is constantly a problem with not the refrigerator light, but like just having the hall light on so I can do something in the dark and my boyfriend's asleep, and it's like Just the littlest bit of light, and he's awake. Turn the light off.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can barely see. You're bright.
Yeah, that's what most people consider, those the little night lights that's got like the little Christmas tree bulb on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's enough for me to read by.
Oof, that would kill my eyes.
Well, and my eyes are otherwise shot. Without my glasses, my effective vision is about my arm's reach. But I'm good with the night vision, and I'm good at picking up movement. Things don't sneak up on me because I can pick up movement in the peripheral, and I pick up sound all around real well. That's part of the reason I don't sleep, is because I pick up every little sound, and I can't fall asleep again until I can identify what the sound is.
Yeah,
So,
that's an annoying thing that my boyfriend does. Like, he'll be sitting there and he'll hear something and he'll be, "What's that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't hear it. You heard it. Go find out."
Yeah. But I mean, like when we had apartments with a common wall when we were in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you which toy Slaughterell's cat was playing with on the other side of the wall.
Ooh.
Just because I could tell the difference in the pitch of the different jingle bells.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, sorry, Doc. That does sound like a really crap way to grow up.
There's this, like, it just seems like there's this generation of men that had children not because they wanted to be fathers, but because that was what was socially expected of them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the realization I came to about 15 years ago about my dad, not too long before he died, was that, yeah, his entire life he had always did what was expected of him. I don't really recall him really having fun. He was just always doing what was expected of him.
That's one of those things that irritates me about the older generation of people. Like, when we talk about when we talk about stuff and they're like, "Well, I spent 30 years working, blah blah blah," and it's like, yeah, good for you. I don't think I should have to spend my entire life doing that. I shouldn't have to work my ass off and then only be able to enjoy life when I'm too old to do anything. After a fashion.
Yeah, you need to have some balance there. And that's, I've financially never done very well. But one thing I can definitely say is I certainly have never become my father.
Mm.
When I was growing up, that was always the big thing that everybody dreaded, becoming like their parents. And it's like, yeah, I've seen it happen to most people I've known, but I don't think anybody can actually say I'm very much like either of my parents were.
My dad always complained about his father, because his father was definitely the kind of person that had children because that was what was expected of him, not because he wanted to have them. And my dad was definitely not that, but, like, he does a lot of things now that I'm like, "You are just like your father." A lot of the intentionally poking at people type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
basically what we would call trolling.
Yeah. Well, my oldest brother, I've always felt that he and my dad could never get along because they were too much alike.
Hmm.
And I suppose there was something of a power dynamic going on there, between the father and the oldest son. But
I think that was always an issue with my dad and my brother. They always fighting when they live together, but when they don't live together, they get along just fine. And I'm like, there's just too much testosterone in this house.
well, that's why, just in general, I do best if I've got at least 300 miles between me and most of my family.
Hmm.
I see them a couple of times a year. That's about all I really need. And if it's a short enough drive that they can make the trip here and back in one day, that's definitely too close. So
Yeah.
I basically figured the state of Wisconsin between us is about right. That the home I grew up in was in the Chicago suburbs, and I was living, in Minneapolis with most of my family around Chicago, and that was good. Having to wind up living in that small town with too many of them, yeah, that was definitely not good for me in a lot of ways, and mentally not healthy for me. So yeah, now we're back to half of them are in Michigan, half of them are in Chicago, and I'm back in Minnesota. So it's a nice little triangle there that I still got about 300 miles of Wisconsin between me and any of them. So I'm comfortable here. And, aside from this current business that I can't go out as often as I'd like to, and I can't really be out building up a customer base at this point. Other than that, everything here is working out well.
That's good.
And we were supposed to have a family reunion this summer, and they decided to postpone it a year because nobody's sure when things were going to clear up here, and nobody could really be making travel plans at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm worried about that how long that this is going to go on, and I'm not going to be able to go to Faithless Forum this year.
Yeah. Realistically, I'm pretty much figure that we've got to dig in and expect that this is probably going to happen. This is probably going to be the way things are going to be at least through the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if everybody would do what they're supposed to do and stay in and do the social distancing and all that, it's going to be at least a couple of months before basically waiting for the virus to burn itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's a virus. It's just like there's no cure for the common cold because that's a virus that they really can't treat the virus. They can treat the symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
but they actually can't do much about the actual infection. They just have to leave that up to keeping the people strong enough for their own body systems to fight it off.
Yeah. I've got a friend up north in New York who's confirmed with it. And his wife
Oh,
him and his wife and their 3 kids. Although the kids are, I mean, like, they've got a little cough, but it could be allergy cough. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, and I've got the allergy cough and sinus problems, so
Mhm.
basically the only way I'll even know if I get it is if I start running a fever, because all of the other symptoms are things that could just be my seasonal allergies. Nickel Spot, I don't know what happened to you. I can't bring you back in because it's just saying device not connected by your name here. So all I can really do is knock you out of here, and you can try coming back in again. Oh, Hans came in.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Hans.
Oh. Yeah, be mindful. I don't know what state you're in. Yeah, and it's definitely, for the country as a whole, it's definitely going to get worse because a lot of states still are not taking it very seriously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the state's not taking it serious. Well, the state's not taking it seriously, and surely the people aren't either.
Okay, and Hamilton's saying my own signal was diarrhea on food that normally didn't cause it. I didn't know that was anything related to the COVID. Has anyone else heard about that being a symptom of it? You know, because again, it's something I can have that kind of problem if I just have too much dairy. But yeah, I mean, the toilet paper thing would make sense if diarrhea was actually a common symptom of it. I still don't understand people hoarding toilet paper of all things. It seems there are so many other things that would make more sense to hoard.
Okay.
Hello again.
Okay.
Wasn't sure what happened to you there, but
Okay, so what happened is that I had to put my microphone away because it's something brother came in and now I have to use my phone, so that's fun.
okay. Yeah, and I know StreamYards can be kind of flaky with mobile devices.
Well, it seems to be working good so far, so.
Well, the most common problem with it is that it seems if somebody's on a mobile device and someone else joins the chat, that then the person on the mobile, basically winds up getting muted or blocked out, and they have to go out and come back in again, because unless you're the last one to join, that's when it starts getting really flaky.
Mm-hmm. That's what would happen with Jen.
Yeah.
She'd come in and then lose all sound.
Yeah, I really wish we could get her a computer too. Oh, Doc, that's horrible.
What did Doc say?
My advice is stop putting diarrhea on your food. Or did I misinterpret?
I don't know. I mean, I think it makes sense in a sense. Like if you think about it, people are worried about being quarantined for a month. And so, I mean, everybody thinks it's weird, but like toilet paper wasn't the only thing that's out of stock. Sanitizer, all kinds of canned goods, so the people wanted toilet paper because they were figuring if I'm stuck home for a month, I don't want to run out of toilet paper, be sitting on the toilet and be like, oh, there's no more toilet paper.
Yeah, well, around here it actually was the case that there was like a run on toilet paper a full week before they ran out of anything else.
Oh, see, here everything was out almost at about the same time.
Yeah, well, it's like, then the store started running out of a lot of the food supplies, but that came like a week after they ran out of toilet paper. Yeah. But yeah, that's, since they went on the lockdown, then I guess over the weekend, the stores were able to restock a little better.
Yeah, and well, and it's a thing of capitalism. They're not going to actually care if they run out of something because that just means it's sold and they made their money.
Yeah. Well, and that's the part that, the hoarding didn't really make sense because, the manufacturing and the display and the supply chains in the US really hadn't been disrupted.
Hmm.
So there wasn't any reason to think that the stores were going to run out of things if people just bought like they normally did, or even
Mhm.
bought a bit extra with the idea that, okay, they could only go out, a couple of times a month. Oh, be mindful. Did you send me a request for a link? I'm sorry, I hadn't really been watching the Twitter. Do I have you on Twitter? B, if you want to come in, you can, but I don't know what your Twitter handle is. So let me know what your handle is and I'll send you a link.
Hmm.
Okay, let me find you on Twitter. There we are. So everybody's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah, it's one of those days. There's not that much going on and not many people talking.
Okay, B, there you go. Either that or everybody's chatting all the time now, so everybody's run out of things to say.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like,
Hey, Linda, you just getting up? I'm not doing real well on the keys either here. Okay, Linda, I dropped you a link to there if you want to come in. You have to know what you're doing.
yeah, I've just been kind of myself ignoring most everything. Just going to work and playing my video games and trying to, get through and not pay attention too much to what's going on because it's just always a lot of shit going on.
Hey, Robert. Yeah, well, I've just been trying to work on my building and try to balance out how much I can be running power tools and not annoy the neighbors who are all stuck at home. Hello.
Hello.
Where did it go?
Oh,
There it is.
now I can see me. Excellent.
Don't you
Hi,
just
guys.
love? Hello. Don't you just love people who go on Twitter and decide to insult people's appearance when they don't even have the balls to put their own picture up?
Yeah,
So I decided
that's
to look.
what's fun.
I decided to look for something on Twitter to see if there was anything to talk about. And Lizzie Lang was talking about an American journalist spreading misinformation about South Africans. And somebody comments and says, decent eyes, but absolutely subhuman lower third. If you were a man, you'd be posting on incel forums. He's got a picture of Heath Ledger playing the Joker. It's like, where the fuck do you get off talking about someone's appearance? You ain't even got the balls to put your face on the screen.
And what's their appearance even matter? Why aren't you commenting on the reporting or whatever?
Uh-huh.
It's like, why aren't you just dealing with the ideas? What does the person's physical appearance make any difference?
It's true, it shouldn't. Oh, hi, Maya. I bought equipment. I'm unstoppable now.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen you live. I was wondering if you'd been doing anyone else's streams.
I jumped on a couple here and there. I jumped on one with Angie. I was in one with Math Pig. A couple more, I think. I mean, before, but since yesterday when I got everything, or the day before, I've been on quite a few. Thanks, Maya.
I only get to go on Purple's streams because I'm always at work. And Purple does his streams on my days off.
Oh, that's awesome. Mine
Well,
rotates.
I'm always
I
glad
never
to have
know.
you here.
Well, that was the
I
thing.
never
Like
know when I'd be off.
you used to do Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I was like, hey, maybe I'll do it on Wednesdays. And then, like, as I was mulling this idea over of just doing my own live streams on Wednesdays, you come up and be like, I'm moving to Wednesdays. And I'm like, well, that takes that out of my hands. I don't have to do
Yeah.
it.
Well, I've also now got myself into that. I volunteered with Mike Black Sofa to be his co-host for Friday evenings now.
I know I was on his stream, Linda. I meant before the last 36 hours. I've only been on a couple.
Yeah. Well,
Ow.
Black Sofa had actually gone quiet for a couple of months, and he hadn't really been posting much of anything. So
You see
he's trying to
this?
get back in.
Oh, kitty.
This thing is scratching me.
Yeah,
Say hi.
you're a human. That's what you's for.
Ouch. I know he just crawled up my back. It's only a flesh wound. I can go on. Anyways.
Well, for cats, if you're not feeding them, your only other purpose is furniture.
No. C, clean litter box. But yeah, that's it. It's just 3 things. No, I'm not going to scratch the cat. That's just mean.
Yeah, I don't have the claws for it anyway.
Yeah. He would just think I was petting him and rub up against it like,
We really lack the sharp enough claws to be any damage, except maybe to each other. To cats, it's just like, oh, this is a nice massage.
I hurt myself with my nails, but I've never hurt anybody else.
I've got
But I scratch myself all the time.
I've got scars on my
weird.
thumb knuckles because I've stabbed myself with my own fingernails.
Excellent.
I'm hoping mine will get better again. You know, that's in recent years, mine have just seemed to have gotten a lot softer. They tend to bend backwards too much, and I just wind up tearing them off.
Yeah, I don't have that problem yet.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
I wonder if it's something, you know, like mineral content in the water or something. So, hoping that maybe they'll get better again.
Yeah, you can. They make like what is it, zinc and a couple other things for hair and nails. Get vitamins for that. They'll strengthen them up.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, generally I eat pretty decently in that, and that's really the only thing that, yeah, living up in Michigan, yeah, my diet was suffering too because just fresh produce there was very lacking. In the small town, it was expensive and, you know, not good quality because everything had to be trucked
Right.
in, so everything was 2 days older by the time it reached the store.
So like a half rotten orange or 4 cans of chunky soup, same price. You end
Yeah.
up with the chunky soup.
Something along that
Yeah.
line, yeah, that I could actually get ground beef and chicken breast cheaper than I could buy, you know, most vegetables. You know, it's like $2 a pound for chicken breasts or $4 a pound for broccoli.
Right.
So barely had a chance to see what the prices were going to be like around here before just can't go to the store very much.
Right.
You know, I wonder if is that more of a problem for the people in Europe, because I know in Europe it was a lot more common, you know, for people to just do light shopping almost every day rather than, you know, like in the US people tend to do like big shopping like once a week or something for the have their dinners for the whole week.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna share screen. Should show this.
Okay.
Do it. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's why you don't cut your ear off. I'm just saying. We need them.
It took me like half a second to get it, and I was like, "Oh, Van Gogh, no ear."
Yep.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Yawning going on. You guys are acting like it's late.
No, that wasn't a yawn. That was just my cell phone has decided
Oh.
to jump off because things were propped at a slight ankle.
Oh. I thought somebody yawned.
I did. It's 2:30 in the morning for me.
Oh, see? Oh, psh. That's what time I went to bed last night. About 2:35 screwing around on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, part of my problem is I don't run on a 24-hour clock, so I'm actually at the point now that it's really hard for me to be falling asleep before sunrise. But
Yeah, I'm not quite that bad, thank God. It's more like
Well-
1 or 2, maybe 3 a.m. for me.
that's part of why it's taking so long for me to get my projects done, because, you know, I've got to keep the noise level to daylight hours. So if I'm not getting up until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's, you know, only giving me like 5 hours a day that I can actually make noise without thinking the
Right.
neighbors might start complaining.
Right. Absolutely.
And my bedtime is 5 in the morning, so it's like, but I screwed up my sleeping schedule, so
So Doorknob Head seems to be enjoying being locked in.
You probably would. And I spoke to an ex of mine, and she said that she's been in her house with her teenage and young adult kids for like 3 weeks. She's ready to throttle them. She's
Yeah.
over by New Jersey, Pennsylvania border. So that northeast shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're seeing Angie on at all because I figured that she'd have her hands full with her grandkids there.
Yeah, she said something about telling them you have to be quiet from this time to this time. Like she laid down the law with them. So you hear them in the background a little bit here and there, but not bad. Like rarely.
Yep. Hey, Spooky.
She's pretty well behaved.
Oh, okay, so Doorknob Head's working too.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
kids stay in the room. I just keep food in the house. They sound like teenagers.
Yeah, the odd thing is I would probably be considered essential services, and my work involves going to other people's houses. It's just I wasn't here long enough to build up any customer base yet. But at least I got some other stuff I can fall back on, so I've got some online stuff that brings in a little money.
Oh, that's good.
Mostly hawking stuff on eBay and Bricklink.
I've done that before. Sometimes just because I had too much, and other times because I need the money. And it's so weird how you have like just waves like that. Oh, I have too much. I don't have enough. I have too much. I don't have enough.
Ironically, what would have really sold was stuff that I left in storage in Michigan. But in my storage in Michigan, I've got several boxes of respirator masks and nitrate gloves. I would have sold out in that stuff in a couple of days if I could have posted them and been able to ship them. So I was telling my sister where they are because she's a nurse there, so maybe she can dig through the stuff and find them.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, Kitty, I can still see your screen, but nobody else can.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out what the heck this is.
Yeah, I can't tell if they're making a pie or doing a science experiment, but
you can show it. It's the tag says, "Damn, they already bringing out Great Depression recipes," and it looks like they're pouring water in a pie, and then sugar, butter, vanilla, and baking it. And I'm just like, it's water. It looks like sugar and maybe cinnamon.
Yeah, it basically looks to me like it's a pie without any fruit, so no kind of filling. But I suppose
like a sugary custard with all that sugar, like this more custardy, but like super sweet pies. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like basically just sugar and butter in a pie crust.
And vanilla, and looks like maybe some cinnamon or something. I don't know. I kind of want to try it.
It's probably pretty good.
Well, fat and sugar, that's what,
That's what makes everything taste good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we evolved to crave that because they're high energy foods.
Bon appetit.
That's why people...
That was the person who quoted it. Said bon appetit.
Yeah, for a while we got concerned about being able to get bread, so Sloth Girl was getting back into baking.
Here's a video of a cute thing.
Oh,
I have no idea what the frick it is, but it looks cute.
It could be a baby chinchilla. I'm not sure.
I was actually just thinking that's what it kind of looks like.
it actually, you're right. It does. My
It's
ex had a
adorable.
chinchilla, but
Yep.
like 2-year-old one. But yeah, that's a miniature version.
Yeah, the only thing is chinchillas usually have a bigger tail, so I don't know. Maybe the babies, maybe it grows in later.
Give it some time to grow.
Maya's saying I've never had too much money. Is somebody saying they have too much money? I mean,
Who? They
you
can
could
share
send
with
some
me.
around, yeah.
Yeah, oh. Here's my hand. Just I'll take it.
Well, see, that was my plan for Patreon, was that, I didn't think I'd ever really get a lot of patrons, so I thought I'd just set up one tier at $1,000 a month, and if I can just get one person to donate on that tier, I'm set.
Right.
So Rachel
Done.
Rachel Oates actually has a tier like that. She's got a $1,000. Well, she did. Oh, I think she took it down. Somebody probably took it too seriously. But it's
Yeah.
No, wait. There's a 4th level. Nope. Yeah, she probably took it down. But it was like $1,000, and then it said something like, "Shush phone." She's something like, "I'll send you a lock of my hair," blah blah blah, and then at the bottom it said, "I'm kidding. Seriously, don't do this. If you do, I will refund you."
Yeah, well, and any reasonably attractive woman on the internet has to be careful about things like that.
Yeah.
It's just a good way to attract a creepy stalker.
Yeah. I don't understand a lot of ladies on here when they post their selfies. I'm like,
TBH.
for one thing, like I don't know how to respond to it without feeling like I'm flirting with somebody, and I'm not. But also it's like, how do you not end up with creepy type stalker dudes?
Well,
Like, I don't.
and there are women who have basically just, made a career out of posting pictures of themselves on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, that's got to attract a lot of attention that you'd have to be uncomfortable with.
I had to stop following somebody that I was following on Facebook because she would post her pictures. And
Or no.
it was like,
Doorknob Head says he thinks you're flirting with him right now.
that's why I'm giggling.
Just
I'm like,
talking about flirting with anybody, he thinks you're flirting with him.
but I had to unfollow her because every time she would post these pictures, she would get like 30 super thirsty comments. And I'm just like, I mean, I just couldn't understand it. I'm like I get that you want people to see and see your confidence and all that, and that's great. But like, I wouldn't know how to deal with like the thirsty dude comments. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Small tangent.
Yeah. Sure does.
Yeah, I'm always aware of that, because it's like, it even kind of makes it hard for me to talk to a woman online about anything, because it's like, I don't want to, come across as being some creepy old dude. And so it's like, I can't even, make any kind of comment at all about anything that could be taken as a compliment on their appearance or anything.
Yeah, unless you already have a good relationship with someone, it's a good idea to avoid that. I would agree.
Well, it's like Shannon Q the other day. No, not the other day. This is probably like 3 months ago. She shared a picture, and her eyes were just like they looked absolutely amazing. You know, you could clearly see the color, and I was like, I didn't realize you had blue eyes. You know, and I'm sitting there going, okay, what do I say so that it doesn't come across creepy like?
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
the
she
kind of thing
doesn't,
I mean. Yeah.
I mean, like, and we've met, like Shannon Q and I have met in person, but like, unless she remembers me, I'm like, I don't want to like do that kind of weird type of things. And then Rachel Oates with her pictures of her hair, and her hair is just gorgeously new colored. I'm just like, I love that color, but I'm just like, I just don't know how to comment on people's pictures without thinking I'm sounding creepy.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I mean. That even if it's a woman that I've chatted with online back and forth for over a year, it's like I can't even say that I like the new hairstyle or anything like that. And even worse for me, because it's like most of the people I'm dealing with in this community are like half my age.
Yeah. I know, I just get to the point where I just like the picture and move on.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Oh gosh.
Uh-oh. What did Doorknob say now?
Oh, just Doorknob and Maya going back and forth there.
Oh. Yeah, I like that about him, though. You never really know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
Keeps it interesting.
Well, he was on live on Neil's stream a few days ago, so actually got to see what he looked like and everything.
Yeah, I got to see him a few times on Angie's streams, and then I was on there with him. He was in on that stream too when I was on Angie's.
Yeah, just Angie
funny.
tends to do it in the middle of the afternoon, so that's usually when I can't really be at the computer.
Right.
I usually have other things I have to be doing at that time.
Yeah, her like noon or 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock streams, I usually get up around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So
Yeah, well, she's in the same time zone with me. She's just a lot further south.
Right. And you guys are just an hour ahead of me. So
Yeah.
it lines up pretty good for me with being able to catch her streams. Working, I usually work like between 1:30 and 3:30 till 9 or 10. So
Okay, Doorknob says he didn't think it was Neil's. Okay, maybe I did get in on one of Angie's for a little while. I don't remember now. The days are kind of blurring together. There's nothing really to delineate day to day anymore.
I know. People say, what day of the week is this? Or, no, what date is it? I'm like, I don't know. I just know it's Thursday and I'm off tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't keep track. It's just blends in.
Well, I'm only aware of the date because it's a new month. So it's like, yeah, the building manager is going to get annoyed if I don't get my rent check in tomorrow.
Fact.
But in the move, I also seem to have lost my checkbook, so I've got
somewhere there's a bag with a checkbook and all your information in it. Maybe it's all took out of the file and put somewhere else. Like, I'm going to keep this safe.
Well,
and now it's all somewhere else.
I had my box of checks in the lockbox, and that was still there. But when I went and looked, it turned out that all that was there were the used up check packs, and there aren't any new ones.
Oh my god.
So I thought there was still a new one in there that I could have written a check off of, but guess I've got to order some more. Yeah, which I need to change the address on them anyway, but still.
Well, yeah. I have
Yeah.
ones from 4 years ago and 3 addresses, and I still use them, and nobody says anything.
Well, if you're going to mail them in for stuff, it doesn't really make any difference. The address only really matters if you're trying to write it someplace and, they see that the address on the check doesn't match the address on your ID.
Right, yeah. Which doesn't, they don't even do that. They run them right away these days, and the money comes
Yeah.
out, and everybody's happy. And so
Yeah,
they
but
don't
if you're
really,
just,
we take checks at work, and I don't check IDs for them. Just take the check,
yeah. Well, in
Usually
these days,
the
it's like
older
nobody
people that
really
use
cares.
them-
The banks are pretty much going to cover them anyway.
Right. It's fine. If that check goes through and it says it's good because the thing reads the whole check number and checks it. So then,
Yeah.
you already have your money. It's just like a credit card these days. It's fast.
Yeah, well, and who really writes checks at stores anymore anyway? It's like, does
I have
anyone have a
customers that
checking
are-
account that doesn't have a debit card?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I have older people they still write checks. That's it.
Hmm.
$85, $90 checks for prescriptions and everything, and yeah, they are so 1980s people. That's correct.
Yeah, well,
It
I mean,
drives me nuts because it's already through the system, but then we have to keep the checks just for records so they can be accounted for. So it's just
yeah,
an
but if
extra
that's
step
the way
for
they've
us.
done it for half a century, I can understand that's kind of hard for them to change.
Yeah, that's how they prefer to do it. That's what they're
Yeah.
used to. So, yeah, I get that.
I'm a bit like that. I haven't really been one to grab onto the newest technology on a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah,
I would not have a smartphone if I really felt I had an option at this point. I don't like it. I don't use it for anything. I would prefer to just, have one that just as a phone that can send text messages. I really don't need all the other crap on there.
I was really against them at first, and I refused to get one. And then, the phone I had, it was an old flip phone, just died. And a buddy of mine had his smartphone. He was showing me what it could do. So I was like, hell with it. I'll get one. I'll try it out. And I love them.
Well, that's
Me too.
Everything that you can look up and do online from your phone is just amazing to me.
Now I've had the smartphone for about 2 years now, and I still, I still don't bother. It's like it's connected to the internet because you don't have a choice, but I don't use it for any of that. I'll do the internet when I can be sitting at home on my computer. I don't really feel the need to have it in my pocket all the time. And the touch screen just annoys me too much. I'll do the internet when I can have an actual keyboard. If I can't type, I really don't want to deal with the internet.
Right.
That's fair. The first phone I had wanted to get was a Motorola Razr, those super thin flip phones that they had. I ended up getting a Droid
I
X.
got one of those.
I ended up getting a Droid X smartphone, and I've just been hooked on them ever since. Spending 9 hours away from home, 9-10 hours away from home a day, it just makes it easier. Like I can sit there and browse Twitter while I'm at home and see interesting things, watch YouTube videos, listen to music, all kinds of that stuff.
Yeah, that was actually about the only thing I've actually used it for. Was I had a tablet that I'd take with me, like when I was going to the doctors or something, where I knew I'd be sitting in the waiting room for a while, just so I could play some game on it while I was sitting in the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
I do that sometimes.
Oh, Pirate Kitty, you got your package, didn't you?
Yes. Didn't I say
Okay.
something?
You may have. I didn't recall.
I thought I did.
No, I just, it occurred to me at the moment because I was
Oh,
flipping through my post office receipts here.
in fact, I was just the other day thinking, where did those purple dice go? And then I'm like, well, here's the box. And then I'm like, oh, they're back in the box. That's why I couldn't find them.
Yeah, you took the purple ones.
Mm-hmm. Yes, taco pillow and I guess a popsicle.
Yep.
I hope so.
Yeah, those are just a couple of the cute little characters that Sloth Girl crocheted.
Yeah, I got to figure out some place to put them, somewhere to put them, and some way to put them so that they don't get all dusty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was just, yours happened to be on the same receipt with Linda's here, and I was just trying to punch that into the post office and see, but all it says on yours, Linda, is it just says in transit. It will not tell me anything useful, so I don't even know what country it's in at this point. So
I thought they had ways of tracking them, or just what stage they're in, like left the warehouse.
well, and
on a
that's why I'm
plane.
finding strange that usually it gives more information than this. You know, usually it will
Right.
tell you like what post office last had it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just not giving me any specifics on it here when I put in the number. But, you know, they did say that anything crossing international borders was going to be slow. So they weren't even willing to give me a prediction of what day it might be there.
Lovely.
Yeah, 1983. 1982 was when I graduated high school. Oh,
83. I was 12. And I guess probably going into 7th grade or something. That was a crazy year. I remember that year.
yeah, for me, it was finishing up high school and starting at the Technical Institute. I actually have a certificate in computer programming, but it's completely useless for anything today. Because I learned programming on
Oh, I
mainframes.
bet. So
I
different.
learned computer programming on like the UNIVAC 9030s. You know, this was like home computers were just beginning to be a thing, and it's like the Commodore was the only thing out that cost less than $1,000. So pretty much everything I learned is so outdated as to be useless.
Yeah, it's true. Things change so quick. Technology changes, little cords that go with it change, how they package it change. Like it's all totally different and changes constantly, you're right?
Yep. Oh, hi, Faye. How you doing tonight? Or this morning or whatever?
Hey.
She must have got distracted by something.
Huh?
Happens to me all the time. See? And Pirate Kitty too.
Oh, something just popped across my screen that says that a stunning admission of deadly ignorance from Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, who says he only just learned that asymptomatic people can transmit COVID-19.
What? Are you
He's-
kidding?
They've
Yep,
been saying
well-
that for how long now?
I don't know, but he's I don't know. I'm trying to but yeah.
Okay, it's scary that somebody who's a major policymaker can still be that uninformed about it.
Oh, actually, I'm not surprised at all.
I
There's
didn't say I was surprised. I just said it's scary.
there's a quote that says individuals could have been infected before they ever felt bad, but we didn't know that until the last 24 hours.
They've been saying that for months.
Yeah,
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 that's
we're
what I said.
definitely hearing that
But
back
then
in
again,
February.
you've also had people who are intelligent, well-informed, leaders in the community who have also said that COVID-19 has an age gap or an age, cap, and it's not true.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
I mean, it doesn't mean that, that they're dumb or that, they're uninformed. It's just not a lot of people know how to rank and deal with a novel disease. And this virus is, I don't know, challenging people on a whole bunch of different levels.
But the thing is like he's the governor of Georgia. The
I know.
CDC is in Atlanta.
I
How?
know. Because his head is all the way up his ass. Because quite honestly, if you're going to be, I don't know, people vote for who they like rather than who they think would be able to, deal with the
yeah,
pandemic. And we all know the famous asymptomatic carrier of all time, Mary Malone.
yep. Yeah, it's one of the problems with our system that charisma matters more than any actual qualifications for the position.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have education requirements. We don't have experience requirements. We don't have. I mean, it's harder to get a job at a gas station pouring coffee than it is to become, politician leader.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I feel about it.
No, definitely would have to agree with that. That that's whether or not somebody is qualified for the position has nothing at all to do with their chance of getting elected.
Mm-hmm.
True. I mean, I wouldn't even let Trump, look at my cat, nonetheless. And my cat is dead, mind you. I wouldn't let him deal with a corpse, rather, than run the
Oh,
country.
look who knows so much. Maybe your cat is only mostly dead.
Oh, that was a perfect comment. That was a perfect comment.
Thanks. I wasn't quite sure if I should go with that, but
No, it was brilliant. Mostly dead. That's like the dead parrot sketch. Anyway,
yeah.
one of my favorite sketches of all time, by the way.
Did you hear about the couple that tried to treat themselves with fish medication and the husband ended up dying?
No.
Excuse me, do tell
Hold
me
on.
the story of complete inane fuckery.
I heard the phone interview with her while she was still in the hospital on NPR.
So she's still alive?
Yeah, her husband died.
Yep.
Because apparently it says an Arizona man has died after ingesting I do not know how to pronounce this. Chlorinic phosphate, that's actually probably not that bad, believing it would protect him from becoming infected with the coronavirus. The man's wife also ingested the supplement and is in critical care. The toxic ingredient they consumed was not the medication form of chlorinic used to treat malaria in humans. Instead, it was an ingredient listed as on a parasite treatment for fish. The man's wife told NBC News she'd watched televised briefings during which President Trump talked about the potential benefits of chlorinique, even though no drugs were approved to prevent or treat COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus. Some early research suggests that it may be useful as a therapy.
Um, yeah, so basically you're telling
So
me that they ingested a fish tank cleaner
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
and
It-
it
It's
killed
to
them.
remove
Well,
parasites
it
out of the
killed
fish tank.
him.
it killed the husband. Yeah, it says the name resonated with the man's wife, who asked that her name not be blah blah blah. She used it previously to treat her koi fish. I saw it sitting on the back shelf and thought, hey, isn't that the stuff they were talking about on TV? The couple, both in their 60s and potentially a higher risk for complications of the virus, decided to mix a small amount of the substance with a liquid and drink it as a way to prevent the coronavirus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They
And
they what probably saved her was she started vomiting. The husband apparently didn't.
yeah. And this is what happens when you have people who are frightened and leaders who are too stupid to know what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought I knew what terror was when I was in my 20s, and a bunch of my family members and I, for many summers in a row, like 10 or 12, we used to go kayaking and canoeing down narrow streams in the Pine Barrens, and half of us came down with Lyme disease. And the thing is, it was new, so a lot of doctors. I mean, we had doctors tell my mother flat out that Lyme disease was a hoax. Meanwhile, that doctor, like 2 years later, said, "I'm reopening my clinic. I just got treated for Lyme disease." But when we got hit with it, like my 12-year-old nephew couldn't move, he was paralyzed. We all had different symptoms. And the thing is, they were talking about whether or not we would have to be infected with malaria and let the fever burn the spirochete in our blood or in our bodies in order to make us well. And there were so many harsh treatments, and I took heavy doses of antibiotics that made it impossible for me to walk across the room. I mean, literally, if we didn't have insurance, I don't know what we would have done, because the medication I was on was like $1,000 a month. But most of us got better, but a lot of us got damaged by the amount of medication they used to nuke us. You know what I mean? And it was hard to get treatment. We had to argue. My aunt and my mother were in the Lyme Disease Coalition in our state. They made, big noises about this. COVID-19 to me seems like a bigger monster than Lyme disease was when I was in my 20s, because I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go blind, or maybe I won't be able to walk, or maybe. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen to us, because Lyme disease kills, like, the symptoms are so wide ranging. You just didn't know what to do. I mean, none of us were going through the same experience anyway, but it was Lyme disease. So what do you do when something like COVID-19, which is asymptomatic, which makes you think of Typhoid Mary and et cetera, that's like 1,000 times scarier. It's 1,000 times scarier. And what do you do other than the social distancing thing, which makes introverts like me very happy?
Yeah.
But you run in, like, I had to go to the gas station the other day. Someone was there with their sister, and she had her 4 children with her. You just want to shake people, but you can't touch them. And I'm sitting there thinking, what is this, a suicide mission?
Yeah, I don't get why anyone has their children in the store with them now.
No. And I was talking to my friend, the one that was dead for a period of time this summer several times and revived and intubated and brain damage, everything. His wife took him to the shopping market in his wheelchair. He's got a colostomy bag. He's not all there. She takes him to the fucking grocery store during a plague. He has no immune system.
Yeah, I've wondered about that too, because I've seen a couple of people who were, in the store on the electric scooters and, obviously
those
had
things are
had some kind of
filthy.
tank or bag with them.
That's not an indication of anything, actually.
Well, no, but if they've got some kind of tank or bag with them,
Oh,
usually
Yeah.
something that indicates that they're having some kind of breathing problems.
yeah, we've started spraying those down.
Well, that's one thing I have noticed, that, the stores generally seem to have gotten pretty good about basically having an employee whose job it is just to be wiping things down all the time.
Well, the thing is that we provide wipes, Purell hand sanitizing wipes. So if if you don't use it on the cart, that's on you for the most part. But with this, people have gone overboard to the part where we can't rely on that. I put the 1,700 part piece bag into the dispenser, and it's gone in less than 12 hours because people are pulling out 5, 6, and 12 of them at a time instead of 2 or 3.
What gets me is that people wipe these things down and they wipe it dry. They don't let the solution evaporate before they use it. It's not clean. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't need 12, they need 1, and they need to make sure that it air dries. Like when I went to the store the other day, I brought my little, bleach gel, and I bleached my cart. I took the time to bleach my cart, and after I did that and it dried and everything, I could put my hands on it. I didn't have gloves on, but I knew I had cleaned it properly.
Yeah, that's the thing that's causing issues for me, is that what we were doing was, I have a 2-gallon Hart spray canister, the kind of thing that they use to spray, pesticides. We got it off the sales floor. We filled it with our store issued disinfectant spray.
Yeah.
And what I was doing was, about every hour, going out and spraying down all the carts. And we weren't busy enough so that the cart attendants were taking the dirty carts and pushing them to the back. Now they want us out there hand wiping every cart. And I'm like, but the stuff has to sit on the cart for a specific amount of time in order for it to do its job. So you can't sit there and spray the cart and then wipe it off instantly and hand it to the customer, because at that point it's not doing anything. It's just wetting the cart.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you've got to allow it some reaction time.
And so I've had multiple times where I've had like 4 carts where I've pulled 3 carts out, sprayed them all down and let them dry. Someone comes and takes one of them because I tell them those are sanitized. And then the next person walks up and watches me spraying a cart and wants that cart that I'm spraying. And I'm like, no, you need to take one of those 2 over there. Those 2 have been properly cleaned. This one is not. But you sprayed it, but that doesn't make it clean.
Yeah, they're just assuming that the one you worked on.
Yeah.
So,
And then this is a picture of social distancing baptism.
okay, that's what I was guessing it was supposed to be.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm going to guess it was done as a joke, but
I don't know. That looks pretty serious to me. But anyway.
I don't know. The priest there seemed to have a bit of a grin, so.
No.
I thought it was funny when I saw it.
Maybe it's because I think baptism is just stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
in general I do too, but
The things that people are saying, things that people believe, the people who think, oh, I'll get sick, but I'll be fine. It's like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, Robert X is saying, in my store, they clean the cart handles while you wait and before you're allowed into the store. And that's something apparently that they're doing over in Europe. See, the US, they're not limiting how many people are in the store at a time. Everybody just
No.
walks in. But yeah,
Right, no, they're actually starting to. I was talking to people on YouTube about this yesterday. They're starting to do it. Like there's Home Depot's down to is allowed 150 people.
I
And
think
then
Lowe's allows 10.
oh, Lowe's is down to 10. Okay, they were at like 150 when I was there before, so
It
that must
depends on
be
the
changing too.
state because they're not really doing
Right.
like number limits in New York, but they are in California.
yeah. Well, and 150 people in the store, it seems that that's way too many.
You know what they did today in New York? They closed down the playgrounds. Why did they do that before? We're just not. Oh my god.
I mean, they've been recommending not using playgrounds. Like you can still use the park, but not the playground for weeks.
Yeah.
Thing is, and this is kind of harsh. The United States has been cutting back on education for a very long time, and they don't care, if people can critically think. And it's showing up desperately now, isn't it? That the common sense is just not there.
Yeah.
And people can't seem to understand how viruses work, how contagious things are, what spreads disease, what doesn't spread disease, what means keeping your distance, what that means.
Yeah, I think Maya's got it. They don't want people to be thinking critically.
Right.
No, they don't.
Could undermine our whole
Maya's
political
definitely
system.
got it.
Yep. Because if people start actually thinking about who they're voting for, then they can't get reelected.
Right.
All I know is that the numbers in my state are surging. Are absolutely surging. I think the amount in New York City is flirting with 50,000, and with the rest of the state, New York is around 80,000. And now there's been, I don't know, about 2,000 to 3,000 deaths in New York.
Yeah, again, being one of the major hubs for international travel in the country, New York City has really gotten it. Yeah, see, we're still not even up to 1,000 cases detected in the state yet.
The thing is, it's you get mixed reports on deaths and whatever. They say, oh, well, the death rate isn't that bad. But then you get pictures of hospital hallways that are lined with corpses, and they're moving corpses with a forklift.
Well, and what people need to think about is that the number of deaths aren't that bad unless it's someone you know. Even if there's only been 5 deaths in your state, if one of them was a family member, it's significant then.
Unfortunately, that's the way most people feel, which is terrible.
Yeah, it is. And that's, but that's what it takes for most people to take it seriously. that it doesn't really seem to them it's serious until it's someone they've actually known in person.
I don't know.
So
what
yeah,
to
my
do.
my friend in New York who's got it, his wife, him, and possibly their 3 kids, he's finally gotten into the ER, and he's had it for 2 weeks.
In New York, you have to basically call ahead and debate your way in.
Mhm.
You can't just show up at the ER right now.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's the other scary part of it is that because of the way the hospitals are now, that a lot of people are going to wind up dying for things completely unrelated to the virus just because they can't get through the ER rooms.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, I can't think that there's a good solution to it. It's something that's going to happen now.
Doorknob head, if you want, I can describe to you what a nurse told me it looks like when they die. Because she talked to a friend of hers from a different state and watched this like 20-year-old guy die. And it was a foamy, like bloody foam gurgling coming out of their lungs up through their mouth. So yeah.
Well, and a lot of the deaths are even not directly the virus, but the virus causing other complications. Usually things like pneumonia or other breathing disorders.
Oh yeah, any of those bronchitis, emphysema, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, DKH. That's what she said. They just kind of, as he was dying, there was just so much crap coming up out of his mouth, and it was just like bloody foam, and it was all out of his lungs.
Yeah.
So
And
I
you know
guess
what?
it's just eating up the inside of their lungs from the inside out.
You know what kind of makes me upset is a lot of people are saying, "Well, if I get it once, I'm not going to get it again." And
Nope.
we are getting reports from countries saying they're getting it again. And that's what, like a few weeks ago, someone was arguing with me. It was like, "Oh, we're doing live tests of a vaccine," and I'm going, "It's too soon for that. We don't even know how this thing behaves. We don't know how to make an immune system immune to this thing, or how long the body will forget." Like, there's immunity is very complicated, and
Yep.
I'm just shaking my head because I know in Seattle, Washington, they were trying to do live, like human tests for a vaccine, and it's like it's way too soon.
Well, the biggest problem that they're having with the coronavirus, because the coronavirus existed a long time ago, is this is a mutated form.
Oh
And
yeah,
so the
well the
problem with
common cold
viruses is they can ever mutate, and you got to catch up with them and try to guess what they're going to do next, make that vaccine, and hope it works.
Well, the thing is, there's like over 200 to 300 different coronaviruses that make up the quote unquote common cold. That's why we don't have a vaccine for the common cold. There's too many of them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
And you're right, this one's new.
yeah, but that's the other thing too, is just, you never know when it could start mutating or how quickly it can mutate. So even if they come up with a virus that seems effective, by the time they start, getting it out in any significant quantity, the thing could have mutated into something that the virus wouldn't be effective against.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. Yep.
I know that influenza, we didn't stop it with a vaccine. The Spanish flu, we didn't stop that. It evolved into a
No.
lesser deadly strain.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah,
what
on its own, right?
stopped
Yeah.
it. Yes, but there's no guarantee Corona will do that. What if it evolves to a more deadly strain? And some people are like, oh, well, when it's over, it's over. And it's like I heard on NPR, they're like, well, this social distancing thing might last way longer than our economy has. So maybe we should just let everyone catch it. And, basically what floats, floats, and what sinks, sinks. And I'm sitting there going, how could we even think about that?
That's the attitude of the people who are making the Corona parties.
No,
Two
Robert,
words
we're not talking
don't
about
go
doing nothing.
together.
We're just saying that the vaccines are going to take longer to make than what people are saying. We're not saying
Yeah.
don't do
No,
anything
actually,
about it.
Purple's got it right. People, that there are some people in government who are just like, social distancing is going to take too long. Our economy is going to crash. Let's just everybody get it and see what happens.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They're actually talking along those lines, and that's dangerous for everybody.
Oh, I agree.
We have to restructure how we do things. Like, I think the fact that employers who expect people to work with the flu is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should take advantage of this wonderful thing called the internet.
Well, and that even people
Yep.
who are in food service are expected to show up for work when they've got a cold or flu.
Right. And they make hardly any money. And they make hardly any money for decades. But yet they're essential workers.
Yeah.
I mean, we really have to rethink our pay rates too. I mean, seriously, we need gas station attendants. We need people to work in food service, and we don't pay them what they're worth. And right now, they're putting their lives on the line for a pittance.
Yeah, Doorknob
I
has
have to
got a good
say-
question there.
Doorknob Head, that is a brilliant question. The economy is going to crash, or is it the fear that people will realize, oh, the economy can survive for them? Brilliant.
Yep.
And I know that, for me personally, I'm probably going to get through this okay, but, it's like if I get it, even if it doesn't, even put me in the hospital, that there's still the possibility that I could spread it to other people before I even know I have it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
that
that's why we
scares
have
me.
to all take precautions.
Well, I work in a drugstore, so we're going to be open until they shut the world down. And I have to say, the company I work for, they're talking about giving us like $1.50 an hour raises, and what is
It
it?
should be more
By
than
April
that.
15th. Well, that's just a start. By April 14th, they are going to give us all $300 and $500 bonuses depending on our positions. And then, if we do get sick, they're going to pay while we're out and hold our positions for us and everything. So, I mean, they're
Yeah,
really trying to take care of us. So, I don't know about the other companies, but mine's being pretty generous.
Mine's doing the same thing, basically.
Good.
And it's like people shit on my employer all the time, but they're actually doing better than a lot of different places.
Well, I'm
Like
glad
Hobby
to hear that they're
Lobby.
handling this reasonably well, because I have tended to not have a real, not a very favorable opinion of your company there.
Same here.
And
I don't
one of the
know how
main
I
things is
feel.
because I've known other people who have worked there, and generally they've been treated like crap.
Same here. I have relatives that spent 20 some odd years at that company, and she fell and hurt her hip, and they decided it was going to take longer to do the physical therapy than they thought. And after 20 some odd years, Walmart said, we're not holding your position for you. You can give it away to somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's no loyalty there.
A Walmart.
But did they hold a job for her? Because I mean, there's different
No.
requirements. Like different kinds of leave have different like position holders. Like if you're just on a medical leave, they're supposed to hold like specific. I'm not sure.
That depends on the state.
Right. Well, what they did with her was they held it for a few weeks, and then they said the physical therapy was going to be another 2 or 3 weeks, and they said you can still have a job. And she said, what job? Now, mind you, this is a high-level management trainer. She trains management to run the stores, like upper level. And they offered her a cashier position.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the offer was. A cashier position going back to not what was it, $7.80 or $8.20 an hour or something. Yeah.
Okay, I got to step away for a minute. Everybody keep going.
Okay.
Roger that, boss.
I'm just highly disappointed in most of the people that live in my area because of the oh, it can't affect me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm disappointed in a lot of people though right now, so I know my family's taking it quite seriously, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Not much. I have some people that come into work and they are like putting their stuff down at arm's length, and we have like the tables in front of the cash registers, so there's 6 feet of distance between us and the customers and all that. And they still kind of like put their stuff down, or they just hold it out and let me scan it. And then they don't want to set it down on anything because they're taking it into their homes. And then you have other people that are just walking around touching everything, acting like it's a day at the park, and we're like, hey, you're supposed to come in here for necessities and go home. So, you can't hang out in the store. They're like hanging out for 2 or 3 hours shopping in a drugstore. Like what? So.
Yeah, I'm so freaked out. I haven't picked up my scripts. I don't want to go in a drugstore.
Well, what drugstore do you go through?
It's a local one.
Oh, okay. Because I know.
It's
So I
nothing
work for
like
CVS.
Kinney or any like chain
Oh, okay, yeah.
pharmacy.
Yeah,
It's a local one.
Well, I work for CVS, and you can get a thing they call a Care Pass and get your prescriptions delivered to you for free.
I think I can
So.
do that here, but when you do call that in, because I've only done it for like surgery and stuff like that.
Right.
They give you dirty looks, and they can only do it like twice a week, so they put you on a list.
Oh, because it's such a small mom and pop deal. Yeah.
Well, I do live in a park. I live in the Adirondacks.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. But anyways, if you want to try doing that, you can do it. Set it all up online. They can pull the prescription over, and like I said, it's $5 a month for the Care Pass, and then they give you like $10 to spend at CVS.com.
I don't even think we have a CVS in the area.
I don't know if you have to have one nearby. They're gonna mail it to you. They can do all the paperwork over through computer and phone.
Oh, okay.
So, but
I'll look
anyways, so
into that,
it's just a
but
thought.
I just know that, the last time I called and have them delivered, and I was really sick. The lady who showed up at my door was pretty pissy. I mean, I've told people to call their pharmacies to have it delivered, but at the same time, I know mine are a bunch of surly little so and so's. They really are. Like you go in
Yeah.
and they're having a 20-minute conversation with the person in front of you, and they get to you, or they get to me, and they're like, "You again," because I don't have like a good last name, because around here nepotism is
Oh,
everything. Like when I first
right.
moved here, they're like, "What's your last name?" It's like, "Aren't you gonna ask me what my fucking first name is? What the hell?" You know, it's like one of those things. And then
No, we
eventually the
care who
truth
you are,
came
not
out.
who you are.
Yeah, it's like there was this one woman, she's like, "Oh, who are you related to?" I said, "Nobody local." And she goes, "Well, you have to be related to somebody." I said, "But my dad is from Alabama and my mother's from New Jersey." And she's like, "I don't believe you." Fine. But I'm really not related to anyone here.
That was one of the things I really hate about living in a small town. I
I'm
really
from
didn't
a
have,
small town, but we didn't have that crap.
Yeah. well, I really didn't have an identity there. I was just, somebody's nephew or, somebody's son.
Oh, being somebody's niece or
Right.
somebody's daughter around here would definitely change my circumstances. And Vermont's not much better because even if your family's lived there for 3 or 4 generations, you're still a flatlander,
Oh God.
you
Oh,
know?
it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is exactly like that. It's like, oh, well, you haven't been here since the Revolutionary War. Whatever. And it's like, well, no, my family isn't inbred by 20 generations. Thanks. Mwah. You know, there's no webbing between
And
my
why
toes.
not though? Isn't that the goal? Oh my
I
God.
don't know. I don't know. All I know is like there's some people in Vermont that are just so cool, and some of the others just like, they should audition for the scuba club because they've got webbing between their toes and hands. So
Well, unfortunately, one of my cousins actually was born with webbed fingers.
yeah, well, I'm sorry, but the inbreeding might be there on your cousin's side. I don't know.
Well, no, that's
I'm
like I say,
joking. I'm
in that
joking.
small town, I was related to 3 of the 5 largest families in the county. So, yeah, there was some of it wasn't much further than a second cousin.
I'm not surprised. There's a lot of it in the United States. There's just, I was watching the Russell Howard comedy thing, and he made a comment like, "Put down the guns, you," something like. I ended it with cousin fuckers, and I'm like, well, that's rather accurate. Because some people live and die in the same town and they never leave and they marry and,
Yep.
they lose track of who they're related to. There's one woman here who says, "I'm related to everyone in town." And I said to her, "Then why didn't you move out before you bred?" And she looked at me and said, "Why would I do that?" My former landlord, not my current one, but my former landlord married his first cousin.
Yeah.
And his kid is dumb as spit, I tell you.
Well, that was kind of the thing that saved me was that, as soon as my parents got married, they moved down to Chicago. So,
Awesome.
got removed from the area. But, well, then when my mom retired, she moved back up there to that same town.
I'm just lucky my parents met in California. I can't imagine if my mother stayed in New Jersey. I'd probably still have the same problem as everybody else. One of my sisters, she tried online dating in an area that her father was from, and we highly suspect that she fucked one of her cousins by accident. It's like after the liaison, they started talking, and she was just like, she came to me and she said, I think I fucked a cousin." What? I
Oh
think
my
I fucked a
god.
cousin. I was like, uh, birth control's a
On
really big
accident.
thing.
Yep. Just fell right on top of it. Yep.
Like, he started talking about his family, and she started going, wait, this is starting to match up. What, 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 what? You know, it was like one of those things. It's like, we don't have to see them again. It's like, what?
If you go to a family reunion to pick up women,
No, it was the same town. It
Might be
wasn't
a
a family
redneck.
reunion. It was just the town. It was
Yeah.
just, what? Oh my
Yep.
I
goodness.
mean,
and that's why I did not date for the last 5 years, because there was too much chance of it being a relative.
but
Oh.
the thing is that, and this is going to sound weird, and I'm not advocating for anything whatsoever, but if you don't know they're your cousin, or that you don't know that you're related to them, and you don't have kids, and something happens, it's just like, oh well, accidents happen.
But
Yeah,
you know,
but
I mean,
idealistically, you don't want to be
no,
that
no,
person.
I understand what you're saying there, but I'm just like, I don't understand the freak out after the fact. It's like, okay, you didn't end up pregnant, don't do it again, move on with your life.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it just sort of
I mean,
like
it's not like you were out
hits you
looking.
like a sledgehammer, honey, when you realize, uh-oh, I think I may just have, because she and I used to joke that if she got pregnant, it would be like her falling into, a 6-foot pile of needles and finding and trying to figure out which one was the sharpest one.
Okay, I don't get that.
She's a
Oh.
slut.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Well,
Uh,
I can
Proudly.
understand the freak out. It's kind of like you realize you dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, luckily she never had kids, but it's like
Yeah.
when you have that moment and you're going, okay. I'm not fucking my sister. she accidentally fucked a cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm sure stock in internet dating has gone down.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure.
yeah, I suppose in some towns you could be left with the situation that it's either a relative or a different species, but
Has anyone seen Beach Post?
The other day was the first and only time I've ever seen Beach.
I haven't seen Beach post, but I did see Beach in a chat yesterday or the day before.
Oh,
Now I can't even remember whose chat it was, though.
she's saying that she tried to talk in the chat tonight, and she's concerned because she doesn't think anyone saw her. And
No,
that's one of the problems with her thing.
no, I wasn't aware Beach ever came in here.
Yeah, she just sent me a DM about it.
How long
I
ago?
just asked her to do it again. Well, we just started going back and forth, so she wrote that a half hour ago. Hopefully she gets my message. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's still awake. I think she's in my time zone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I never, I think I've watched the side chat fairly well, and I never saw Beach come up.
Yeah, well, we're still doing the fundraiser, but it's not going too well because we're doing it during a plague.
Yeah, well, and with a lot of people suddenly out of work and their finances uncertain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see gin and tonic today.
Gin and tonic?
It's a show.
Yeah.
Ex-Muslim thing. It's really good.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
Beige knows all the channels. But yeah, Christy Santiago is still doing the fundraiser. We're trying, but it's not.
Yeah.
As I said, it's not going so well because of stupid plague. And I want to make sure Beach gets her device before her thing dies.
Yeah. What was the total for the goal?
I'm not sure. I think it's about either 1,000 or 1,300.
Okay.
We're a long way
Because I know
away.
Christy had said, about needing a couple of extra accessories, and I didn't know how much you were trying for.
The donation is through Christy Santiago doorknob, so
Yeah, we need to drop a link for it.
okay. Hold on 1 second. Beach is asking me questions. No, but it's been a while since
What?
I have had any.
She's pooping.
Help.
And she's pooping right behind you.
I know this.
No, Doc, you have a new apartment. I don't think Beige would be very happy if you put yourself into financial crisis right now.
Yeah, I know, Doc, that you're completely tapped out from your move.
And I'm completely tapped out too because I haven't been able to work as much. In fact, I'm barely going to scrape by.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that
If I
people aren't
scrape by.
comfortable with you coming into their homes now.
It's not just that. Some of them are down in Florida and they're not, they don't want to leave the state because things are weird about crossing state lines. And
Yeah.
like I'm not going to Vermont, and 90% of my work is in Vermont, but I can't cross the bridge.
I didn't think about that you're in an area where crossing state lines for work was probably a regular thing for you.
Most people on this side of the boundary can't afford me. I do things like garbage runs and running people to doctors and stuff, and a lot of appointments are now electronic and over the phone, so they don't need me for that. But I have been picking up trash for people, which is so glamorous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can hold on for a couple of months just doing my online stuff, but it's going to be more than a couple of months before we can expect things to be normal again.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, that's most people still seem to be talking about this thing as, being a short-term thing. Like they think this is only going to be a few weeks and things are going to go back. That's like, no. I see no reason to believe that we'll see any improvement before the fall. And, if we're waiting on a vaccine or that, and typically it takes at least a year for them to get a vaccine from the state they're at now of having the genome to actually having an effective vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that people have in their heads, well, if we all quarantine ourselves for 2 weeks, then we'll know. But not everybody's quarantining themselves because not everybody's showing symptoms.
Yeah.
So the asymptomatics are walking around and spreading it, while the people that have the symptoms are hiding at home and don't know whether it's the flu or the COVID because they're not educated enough on it. And there's not enough information out there, I guess. It's just, yeah, it's not gonna be something that's gonna go away too soon.
Yeah. Well, Doorknob's saying it's a permanent thing in many ways. And yeah, I think it's going to have to cause, some changes in our basic, our society, just the way we conduct things.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, yeah, people are thinking they're going to stay, in their homes for a couple of weeks and, just get food and stuff delivered. And it's like, yeah, that's not really a long-term solution because, just.
Well, no, because eventually you're not going to have the delivery people either.
Yeah.
So, what do you do then?
Yeah, I really don't know. And that's, we don't have anything in place. We really don't have plans for how to deal with anything like this.
I heard something about a committee for that at some point. I wonder what happened to that.
Well, yeah, that's all mired in politics because it's like.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
It's horrible. I don't like him and his party, so I'm going to get rid of a perfectly good, viable idea.
Yeah. And there's a question in that too, that, okay, assuming that this runs until, if this runs more than 6 months, how are we going to hold an election?
It can't be a verified one.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're going to have to hold. Which means here we go. Yeah.
Well, and again, there's no precedent for that. There's nothing in the Constitution to allow for that. But at the same time,
right. So
if people can't show up in person at the polling places, how do you verify that no person is casting more than one vote?
I mean, you'd literally have to put voting booths outside and have everybody spread out. So that's the only way you'd be able to do it.
We do have absentee ballots, don't we? Or is that not for the presidency? I don't know. I always vote in person.
How those are handled varies so much from state to state. Some states will allow voting by mail, some will not. Some
absentee voting
states,
is how we got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, just some states don't really have any way that people can vote without showing up in person at some point. Because in some places, even to get an absentee ballot, you have to show up in person at the courthouse to request one.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, they could make an exception given the current situation.
I mean, honestly, let's just be honest. They don't need us to vote. The people that are in the electoral college and all that crap, they're going to decide anyways. They don't need us to vote to decide who is president. They don't listen to us anyways. They vote for whoever they want, and we're stuck with the repercussions.
Yep.
Mm.
Hey, Faye.
I'm back.
Okay.
Faye's
Sorry, I'm right
back.
after.
Beach did try to write and no one saw it. So there's something fundamentally wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, something's wrong because I've been watching a side chat this whole time and
yeah. I
Beach was not on
haven't
there.
seen Beach's name at all.
Nope.
There's something wrong with my internet in general. So
Well, as we were discussing at the beginning of this, that a lot of the internet servers are being overloaded, just having more traffic to deal with than they were designed for.
what are you gonna do though?
Yeah, well, that's that started because my live stream yesterday afternoon, everybody got kicked out except for me, and we didn't know what was going on because nobody could get back in. And I got an email from StreamYards basically saying that they had gotten overloaded and that a bunch of people had been kicked off at the same time, and they like corrected the problem within an hour. But
I don't know what to do.
yeah, again, it's just, the systems weren't designed for this, and no one knows what to do.
Well, all I know is I have no idea how long it's gonna last or what companies are going to do in order to stay alive, but we needed to start thinking outside the box anyway, especially when it comes to like commuting to work and things like that. It's just not good for the environment. Maybe we need to change the way we buy things and get things. I know a lot of states are now through Amazon.com, depending on what state you live in, you might be able to get your groceries through them. If you're on food stamps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're now accepting that as a form of payment in some states, and it may not be like good for perishables, but if you need staples, it might be.
Well,
Okay.
Amazon bought Whole Foods. So that's how they're doing it, is that, a lot of the grocery distribution through the Whole Food stores can be delivered. Although that doesn't make it a very economical choice for a lot of people.
No, but I've looked at some of their things and it's not just Whole Foods.
No, but they got a distribution network that went with that, as far as a bunch of the warehouses and that handle the more common stuff, the canned goods and that supply some of the independent grocers.
Right. Doorknob, you're making Beach laugh. She's really enjoying you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we're at least cheering her up a bit.
No, Beach, I didn't see your message, but you're very funny. At least we know she's here.
Yeah, sorry, Beach, that we can't see your responses.
You're making her laugh, Doorknob Head.
Oh.
So, I'm not sure what's going on for the most part, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does.
there's too many unknown factors. I don't think anybody's got a real handle on it.
No, I don't know what to do.
We are starting to see improvements in some countries. So, it's kind of like, what can we learn through the places like Italy that got, hit much harder earlier? But
It looks like we didn't learn anything.
well, unfortunately, some of the people in the highest positions didn't learn anything.
No. What are you gonna do? What can you do?
Yeah, not much. I mean, individually, we can't do anything but, try to protect people and try not to breathe on each other. And there really isn't much of anything we can do as far as, organizing or anything.
No.
It just, all we can do is everybody try to keep your germs to yourself.
I don't think people know how to do that.
No, and that's, I'm just seeing it here that, this building's got like 150, 200 people living in this building, and me just walking back and forth between my apartment and Sloth Girls, and some people here just don't understand the social distancing, that you're supposed to keep 6 feet apart and the hallway's less than 4 feet wide. So that means, don't pass each other in the hallway. If you see someone coming, you've got to back up to an intersection or something and let somebody go past. And they've even got signs, and people still, they've got signs about one person to an elevator. And, people are still getting ticked off when I won't hold the elevator door open for them. So it's like, people know what they're supposed to be doing, but if it's inconvenient, they're not going to do it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's just the general American attitude that, we want to help out, but not if it personally inconveniences me.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, Linda suggested to Beej about if incognito was on. So I don't know what browser Beej is using.
I have no idea.
Okay, B, it was good to have you here. So yeah, maybe we should just wrap this up for the night here. We're getting close to 3 hours.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I need a snack and then head to bed.
Okay. Well,
Beach
thanks
says good
everybody for
night.
joining us.
And Beach doesn't have any idea where incognito would be, so she's guessing not.
Which browser is Beej using?
I think she's using Chrome.
Okay.
No, if anyone has her on Twitter, send her a DM. Seriously, help her out.
If she looks at the upper left side of the browser, where normally your login information would be, underneath the X and the underscore, it'll say incognito.
You mean the right side?
Yes, I am directionally challenged.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I would think it might be under the tools menu. I've never actually used the incognito mode myself, so.
I have, but I'm bad at giving directions to people. Good Lord, don't even know where to find my browser, she says.
Huh?
Some of us are technically challenged, and I'm one of them.
Okay. Well, whatever window that you would be seeing this through, where you can see the chat, would be in your browser. So when you've got that window maximized,
The three little dots on the side?
yeah, the three little dots on the side would open up a menu, and somewhere in that menu it should say tools.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on the tools, I would think that might, or no, actually on mine, I click on the three dots, and one of the options it gives is incognito window, but I'm not sure how you would shut that off if you're already in it.
You just have to shut the browser down and open a new one.
Okay.
Usually.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't used that mode. I haven't really done anything where I've felt that I had to keep it hidden, but
Pure and innocent purple never has incognito mode.
well, the main thing is that no one else has access to my physical computer, so.
Well, no, I mean incognito mode is more about
Cookies and shit.
cookies and
That
stuff.
much I knew.
Yeah.
Like if somebody blocks you on Twitter and you want to know what they're saying, if they're talking about you, you go into incognito mode and you can see their Twitter.
Yeah, people had mentioned that to me, and it's like, yeah, if somebody blocks me, I'm really not going to go through the effort to see what they're saying about me, because I really don't care.
Right.
What anybody else thinks about me is none of my business.
Right.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, we will see you next week, or if anybody cares to, I'll be co-hosting with Black Sofa tomorrow evening, which he's doing it at 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, and that'll be like 5 o'clock here Central
I
Time.
like him. I think he's funny.
I've always liked him. He's had periods that he's gone quiet for a while, but I've liked
That's
all the stuff
fine.
he's put out.
He's entitled.
Yep.
Everyone's entitled, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and that's what I tell everybody, that, if they need to take a break for a while, it's like, we're subscribed to you. We'll be here whenever you come back and start putting new stuff out.
I just need to know what I'm doing. I've been having trouble making the machines work.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty technologically inept at most of it myself, so I always have to be asking other people how to do things, and it's been good that there's been a lot of people in this community who are willing to help out with things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I can post stupid questions on Twitter and get semi-intelligent responses.
I'm checking to see if Beach said anything else. Oh, I can't. I found it, put it on, and turned it off, and typed hello again. Did anyone see Beach say anything?
No, I still didn't see Beach's name come up.
Don't know what's going on, Beach, but can't
Yeah.
see anything you write, hon.
Sorry. We're missing you.
I don't know what's going on, hon.
But you can post on Twitter, so maybe if you post on there, maybe somebody who is a bit more knowledgeable about the stuff than we are could give you some tips.
I have no idea what's going on with her machine. I do know it's 19 years old. So it's not upgradable.
Yeah, that's why I wound up getting the one I had, because the machine I had previously was like 12 years old, and I've just discovered that it wasn't practical to get parts to upgrade it anymore.
No. There's a limit to upgrades.
Yeah, so that, well, what I got, even at the time I bought it, was one that was like 2 to 3 years old. That was a refurbished machine. So
Okay.
it's serving me pretty well. It wasn't a bad route to go for me being able to get something I could afford. I managed to get a refurbished machine for $300 and, put about another 200 into it. And that's what I'm running on now, which is now on the order of about 5 years old.
Understood.
Okay. Well, bye-bye, everyone. I'm going to cut this off here.
Bye.
Bye. Wonder what happened to